Let's come back to France now, where the new cabinet is meeting today for the first time. Last week, newly re-elected President Emmanuel Macron named Elisabeth Borne as his new prime minister, only the second time in 30 years that a woman has got the job. Well, she announced her new government 3 days ago. And to get the latest on their first meeting today, let's bring in France 24's Charles Pellegrin. Charles, you're at the Élysée Presidential Palace now. What's on the agenda for today?
So the meeting just started at 10 on the dot. We just saw a procession of ministers go through here, including just recently Pape Ndiaye, the education minister, one of the sort of surprises of this new cabinet by Elisabeth Borne, the prime minister. Top of the agenda will be an issue that was central to the campaign, that of cost of living and purchasing power. Bruno Le Maire, the economy minister, promising that the first bill proposed to Parliament will have to do with tackling that issue. Could be a bill or it could be an amended budget. Then there's the thorny issue of pension reform. Elisabeth Borne says this is a necessary reform to raise the retirement age to 65 by 2031 in order to be able to invest further in education and in health. Olivier Dussopt, the Labour minister, will be in charge of that reform. He's seen as a personality open to dialogue with the unions. So the beginning of an important work for him there. And finally, France and Emmanuel Macron has made it an objective for France to be the first large economy to no longer use fossil fuels. Elisabeth Borne is in charge of that task of ensuring an ecological transition, and she's got two other women with her to help with that task, Amélie de Montchalin and Agnès Pannier-Runacher, in charge of energy transition and environmental transition. But they both have business and finance backgrounds, which makes groups like Greenpeace a little bit dubious.
Charles, this government was just named a few days ago, but one of the ministers is already being hit with scandal. Tell us about that.
That's right. Damien Abad, Minister of Solidarity, Autonomy and Handicap, was accused over the weekend, or at least over the weekend, accusations against him about rape and sexual assault came out. Two women accusing him of this. We actually saw him arrive recently, and he was one of the few ministers who just went straight out of the car into the Élysée Palace without stopping to pose for a photograph by the journalists. He's accused one of these women accused him and filed a formal complaint with the justice system. That hasn't led to anything so far. The other one has raised it with a watchdog group in charge of sexism and sexual assault in political life. And they actually tried to raise this issue with the government and with the En Marche party of Emmanuel Macron. And they did not respond. Elisabeth Borne in a spot of bother because of this now, as she's the head of a gender equal government, and she has said that this is an important step for France. There's questions here about the vetting process, about whether she would have accepted such a nomination or whether this was decided directly by Emmanuel Macron.
Charles, thank you for that. France 24's Charles Pellegrin reporting from the Élysée Presidential Palace.